Now we are rolling everywhere. Whenever Michelle is ready, then she'll start us off. Until then, I will drink my tea.
Hello, Marmot listeners. Today, we are fortunate enough to spend some time with Kene Sperry, who is an artist in this area and photographer. He's been here for 25 years, and he has a cool story to tell. So without further ado.
Both of your your names are shoe brands.
Sure, yeah.
What is that about? Can we trust
Kene
you?
is K-E-E-N. It's...
I think the shoe brands is maybe it's the reminder where I have to get grounded.
Oh, nice.
You know, because I'm kind of out in the ethers a lot, and really I'm being brought here. I'm blessed to have children. I think my children, I don't know where I'd be without them. They help ground me into this realm, into this space where I can really, where the rubber hits the road. You know,
that's what kids do best.
Yeah, and they don't care like who you think you are, what your status is, or your accolades or anything like that. You know, I'm just simply dad to them. So,
how many jokes I've written for the TV screen that have been just great, and then I crack jokes here, and they're like, ugh. Dad jokes are awful.
Yeah,
what? I do this for a living.
Right?
They like my jokes better. Like for the dances, Smith's always like, "No, you drive. Your jokes are better." I'm like, "Are they?" No.
Bad taste.
Yeah,
it's fine. That's why I'm perfect for teaching secondaries.
Yeah, the phones are kind of. I don't know if they're helping them.
No, they're not.
Yeah,
they're
it's funny
strict.
with my kids. They, my daughters, so I photograph. My niche is monochromatic, so photographing just with light. And the purpose of just black and white photography is to express the just tonal range of light. So our eyes actually can see the most tonal range of light, the highest gamut. They say, "What's the best camera in the world?" People always ask me. The best camera in the world is your eyes. Your eyes, if you actually focus on one particular thing at a time, you can see more gradient of light than the best camera in the world.
I thought maybe you were colorblind. And so you only take black and white photos to make us all feel like you feel. But no, you can see color?
You can see color.
Okay.
Yeah. My daughter says, "Dad, why don't you photograph color?" And well, here's the answer: is color actually brings out different emotions for everybody. So if we all saw red, we'd all have a different emotional response. If we all saw blue, we'd have all a different perspective, emotional response.
But you're saying there's a range of different emotions
that are tied to different colors.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Based on see red every time I look at you. So.
What do you think of when you see Kene's? What is that? Green and a navy.
Oh yeah,
mustardish.
It's mustard. It's
yeah,
mustard
how
and
does
brown.
that make you feel?
He's earthy.
Earthy.
He's grounded.
See, she just
he's grounded.
Went into the earth.
See, and I think militant.
Oh, see.
Do you really?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of colors, though, okay, this is a little bit of a segue.
I love that explanation.
Not Prince anymore. King Charles just had a portrait commissioned, and the entire thing is mostly red colors, and it's interesting. It's like, why would they choose this? Like his entire aura, like around the background, all of it, reddish, pinkish colors.
Basically everything that's not his face.
It looks like he's burning in like a light pink, dark pink hell.
I think that's pretty accurate.
It was
I think
choice,
if you go down that rabbit hole, I think you'll find a lot of darkness.
I know.
Interesting.
I think we've been following a narrative of false idols, and when you kind of go down that path, I think we're actually turning our heads to it a little bit, where we're kind of tuning in to our own heart and really resonating what's happened. I think in the last 5 years, people have really kind of the silver lining and the gift. I think it's brought more empathy and compassion and kind of understanding within our own selves, and I think that big thing is like, I don't know what I don't know, and that big thing is like, we actually don't know. And I was actually drinking a cup of tea with
very British of you
with this, and I pulled it out here.
What are you holding?
And this is the tea little mantra, Okay. And it brought me to this point because I was just speaking of this. Know the unknown, hear the unheard, see the unseen. That's what we're all being called.
That was the little paper tag on your tea bag?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's like a fortune cookie.
It is.
I know.
It nailed you.
See the unseen is a hard one for me right now. Or hear the unheard.
Hear the unheard. Yeah.
Hear the unheard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how did you get into photography? Was it a Fisher Price camera? Because that's how my sons got into it.
Yeah, well, simply I got into it when I was 11 years old. I can still recall. We went on a little photo school field trip, and we all got Fisher Price cameras for better luck, just some little plastic cameras.
Yeah.
And it really hit me hard. I was, because I'd always visually seen the world where I kind of could feel into it, not just see it. They say, to see with your ears. So that's one thing, when you're kind of seeing with your ears. So you're kind of tuning into that, and then feeling with your eyes. So you can actually decipher, not kind of your truth. And so I found, well, I wasn't really a big writer. I have been more and more. So I ended up like interpreting the world more visually and I was more of a visual learner. And I love to read and write. I just feel like the constructs of sometimes the words take away really what my intention of what I wanted to express or what I wanted to feel. So I think when I was young, I just found a lot of connection to the visual world that is kind of that unknown.
Right.
That's what drew me into it when I was super young, and then studied it through high school, had a dark room. Through college, I studied film, even had a dark room.
Where'd you go to college?
At Washington State University in
Nice.
Pullman.
Cougs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my
The
sister
Cougs.
lived in Moscow for a while, so she's right over there.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful
That's
area.
beautiful, the Palouse.
Yeah, the Palouse.
And it's a universal language. The visual image, everybody speaks that.
Yes.
And you have this very pronounced style. How has that evolved from when you began to now?
Well, I actually kind of how I began, I photographed people and big weddings all over the world. I was commissioned to go shoot from, Italy to New York City to California to ranches in Montana. And there I got kind of exposed to just the variables of people, light, space. So I was kind of thrown into almost like a science project of like, yeah, go shoot that. And it doesn't matter what the light is or what the people see. You really had the constant variables. And I ended up getting very relaxed into it. I enjoy people. I think people are the most fascinating because they're just so abstract. You never know what's going to happen or what they're going to do. And that's what drew me kind of probably into my 10,000 hours to photograph. And as a baseball coach, I coach Little League. I talk about to succeed at anything, you have to have the 5 P's, and you can't do it without. You have to first have the passion. Without the passion, you wouldn't do it, and you have to be playful. It has to be kind of in that wonder and awe to make it exciting, and then you have to have persistence, be able to kind of fall down, get back up. And then you have to have a lot of patience. And what was the last one? It was
Paragliders, pigeons.
Pigeons. There's a 5th one.
My kids did not have the patience or the passion for baseball, but yeah, we'll think
for
of it.
anything.
Yeah,
Plenty of luck.
they are
Doesn't
artists. My kids. I realized that. I tried to force them to do soccer. I tried to force them to do all that for years and years, and they're just like, I like piano. And I like guitar. And I like writing, and my son does speech and debate and stuff like that. Like, those are their passions right now. And they love to play outdoors and do outdoorsy things, but like, they're not a team sports kid, and that makes sense because I was a runner, and my running is sort of like the same reason you do photography. I see the world on like a ethereal level when I run.
Oh, wow.
I listen to classical a lot of times when I run, and everything is crystal. It's just, I see all of it. I hear all of it.
Ooh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm addicted to it. Like, you're addicted to photography.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It
Yeah.
just keeps you, that passion keeps you going.
Absolutely. I've got all the 5 P's when it comes
Oh,
to
the fifth P was practice.
practice, and I
okay.
practice.
Yes,
Not
practice.
as
Keep
much.
on going. Keep on.
Totally, no.
Yeah.
And you got to love it enough to practice even when somebody is not telling you to practice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Just do
yeah.
it.
For sure, you just do it on your own.
So your latest trip, you went down to Utah, correct?
I did go down to Moab
Right.
in the Canyonlands around there.
Okay. And so you do a lot of your work now from helicopters. Can you tell me why you started doing most of your work from above?
Yeah, so I mean, I enjoy really being on the ground and kind of being in that kind of slower space and place. But I remember like being in Yellowstone and the light was just like moving through the hills kind of in a really dynamic range, and it just looked like it was dancing in the hills. And I was like, gosh, I just wish I had like a mobile tripod I could just like get there, like cuz light is fleeting. So light to me is just the expression, just as like an emotion or feeling is felt. It's there. It's like a thought. It's there and then it's gone. And so light works the same way. It like comes through and creates these shapes and spaces within the land, and then it's gone. It's gone before you even, as a photographer, are able to kind of like compose, get your aperture, get your shutter, get your ISO set. And so that's typically not really like landscape photography, which I'm not in that defined role. That's kind of more that like you set up the tripod, you kind of got the traditional kind of horizon point, and then you're just waiting for that, either that sunrise or sunset. And for me, I'm more fascinated with the fleeting light, and I'm really fascinated with the dark shadows and the true whites that bring that tonal range.
Right.
To interest. So I think what got me there was I was like, I was doing some commercial work, photographing from the helicopter, a conceptual idea I had. And then the conceptual idea came to fruition of kind of how I visioned it. And then I just kind of came to the conclusion that I just wanted to express it as art and not and art itself, and then let the viewer be the interpreter of the art itself, and not to be tied to anything else other than just the art for what it is.
Yeah.
And my home, being Southwest Montana, is like a true inspirational place for me. I just, as you guys know, it's just the openness, the vastness. You can just feel the freedom of just being. And when you go over Yellowstone from a helicopter's perspective, from an aerial perspective, it's just so big. And Montana, I've flown up the glacier to the different mountain ranges, the Absarokas, the Crazies.
I bet that's beautiful.
And it is, and it's just so big. And the way the rivers all merge in, and so the rivers and the streams appear just like the veins and blood of our body, almost in perfect symmetry. So started shooting more and more from this aerial perspective, and then I realized that as within, so without, we're actually our nature. So everything outside of us is just a manifestation of what's in us. So it's this idea, or not even idea, for me it's a knowing that this interconnection is innate in all of us, and it's to be remembered as we kind of move into these times more and more into the artificial world, which is beautiful too. It has a way of expressing itself. I'm impartial to it all, but if you lose that disconnection of your mother, which is the earth, and from being connected to that, to the land and to the spirit and to the animals, then you somewhat maybe lose that perspective of your soul and the being human. And because we're not meant to know the algorithm, and I think technology can be very good, very, if used with intention and awareness. But so a lot of the photographs are just to bring that remembrance of I think truly who we are, and
Oh, I completely agree with the nature thing. Like, I will slice open a lion's mane mushroom and show my husband, because I was in nursing for a while. I was like, this is a brain. like this is the brain stem, this is the ponds, this is like like this exactly. And then same thing with oak trees. Like there are so many things in nature that mirror our bodies. I mean, with rivers and tributaries and things like that. It's so true. Like this is a living, breathing thing, just as we are. The earth is. So it's cool that you're able to focus on that. And would you say that your specific focus would be nature?
I would say at this point in my evolution of photography is kind of going into that rawness, that nature, that the elements of what is. But I have this deep yearning too for the infinite capacity of the soul and the uniqueness of every individual and their expression. And that's not just tied to just the rivers and the oceans and the mountains and everything. I want to photograph, the cities too, and the abstract space of the light refracting off of buildings into potentially movement of people moving in there. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like. I just already know that I'm being called to it. And so as an artist, I don't really tie too much when I'm going out on a project of what I'm going to go create, what I'm going to create, because it's actually creating in front of me, and I'm just a conduit to witness and to be observed. So if I was to put myself in a defined role, I'm a observer of light, I'm a painter of light, and some people may call this an artist, photographer, but more so I paint with light, and so it comes to me, but I can't have any attachment like, I'm going to get these photographs down in southern Utah, and this is what it's going to be. Yeah. So I lose all attachments. I have kind of visions and ideas. I actually did have a vision about a week before I left. In a dream, I had a vision of a visual expression, an image, and I was actually up in the helicopter shooting, and it's pretty intense because the doors are off. It's like an A-star helicopter. It's going super fast.
Yeah, I wouldn't be okay.
Circling around. No. And scared the shit out of me. Where we had one of the seats was flapping, and then the big cushion seat just flew out and went down like a 300-foot canyon.
Come on.
And I was like, but I stay in this kind of
glad that wasn't me.
Yeah, I looked down there and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You weren't click.
No, that kind of like breathed for a little bit, and then I'm like, okay, it's like, okay, harness buckles on. Yeah. Cameras are harnessed. Okay, everything's good. The seat's gone. I'm still here. So I am at peace though. I do feel safe. I mean my kind of superpower is that I always do feel safe.
That's good.
And you're spending a lot of time in helicopter.
Yeah. Spinning around. The pilot was like, I gotta get that seat, and he starts like buzzing around even more. Like we gotta find it. And it was like a 500-foot drop down the canyon. I was like, your seat's gone.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Don't invite me on any of those trips. I will say no. I have a thing about helicopters and falling out or anything like that. We're good away from below, though. I'll be
so much
on the ground.
That's so much work. There's so much effort involved in getting these shots from helicopter. You're saying you don't know exactly what you're going to get when you go up there?
No.
You're just fishing every time?
Yeah.
You're crazy.
Yeah.
See, I love that, and I completely understand that, but this is my
it breaks my brain.
Perfunctory
I love that.
husband. He cannot go to the grocery store without a list. Do you know what I mean? I'm like,
otherwise, why am I going to the grocery store?
I
don't have a list of things that I need there.
What's on special? What kind of fish is fresh? That's me. But he's the opposite, which is good. It's a nice yin and yang.
That's polarity.
Yeah,
that's balance.
Total balance.
Efficiency, ruthlessly.
Yes.
If I change plans on him, planes too, he's not okay. He's not all right. No, I live in chaos, and he doesn't, and that's good.
The prints of yours that I've seen are all enormous. Is that by design? Do you want them to be huge, or do people just see your work and they go, I gotta have that, but it needs to be 8 feet?
Yeah, well, this, Joe, is where size does matter. So size does matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for the size of the piece to be enormous, I even want to go bigger, because
just a wall.
Just to like really lose yourself in the light, in the space, and have no thought. Because what I'm really aiming for for the viewer to feel it in the gut and the heart first. And then the mind is, what is that? Oh, where is that? How did that happen? So start asking those questions after the initial, because your intuitive self knows the expression of the feeling. Your gut has a higher intelligence than your mind. And so I'm moving into that. Go from the gut and the heart, feel it, and then maybe move into the how, when, what, where, why,
Right.
type of questions.
I like it. I mean,
Interesting.
I can understand if something's bigger, then you see more intricate detail within the picture.
In the world of massive distractions and
Yeah.
2-second reels and
You need a big
lots
picture.
of little things popping to grab your attention, which attention is the only currents left, and the attention is what everybody's after right now. I mean, it always has been, but now it's like everything's out there. And so the attention is a little bit kind of lost as like, kind of what am I focusing on? And, and if we don't know what we're focused on, we can't really bring that awareness to it. So the size and going bigger would kind of allow the viewer to have no distractions and just kind of get lost in the piece and feel it. And even when you try to get away from it, you're like, it's still there.
That's awesome.
So
So if you had a perfect place, like a perfect installation, where would it be?
I would say a really, really nice place to have the installation would be really big windows kind of all around, or at least one wall that's all windows, and then either wall on all three sides, whatever's the biggest wall, ideally for the light not directly across, even though it can work really good, would be if the light was coming in this way to that wall and there'd be a wall here and wall there, it would be one of these adjacent walls.
Yeah.
So the light refracts off the wall and hits there. And that would probably be the most ideal place, or some type of like
a nook you're describing.
more
Kene Sperry nook.
a big wall and kind of the grand living room kitchen space where it kind of encompasses. It could be even above like a fireplace mantle where it's like it's seen from up above, maybe on the tier, or it could be seen below.
Yeah.
You could be even walking down the stairs and still kind of see it. So somewhere where it is captivating to the visual. And actually, the interesting thing about a piece of art, or I'll just say a photograph, because that's what we're working with right now. It changes every time you look at it, because your mood and your energy and whatever you're feeling of the day is actually reflected into the piece of art, and you actually can see things or new perspectives or perceptions from just you're the perceiver of your reality, and all the mind is a receiver to consciousness. And so it may open up that receiver, which I see the mind is actually like a sponge. It's just taking consciousness in, but actually consciousness is non-local. We actually doesn't live in the mind. It's happening in a, we can't, it's the unseen, right?
Yeah.
So
The dark matter.
yeah, exactly. But I believe that every soul, this love, this light that's within us, it's the beacon, it's the heart, it's the if you squint your eyes, you can actually kind of see that aura off of people is that we are all the light. And one of my old photography classes taught about light, and I think the big takeaway about light, or what photography is, it's concealing the light and revealing the light. That's all you're doing is revealing and concealing.
Okay.
And so,
Which is what I find so interesting about art versus photography. And you were talking about different emotions, different times of day, looking at pieces. I would say that's more prevalent with photography than it is with a painting, in my opinion, because I've got some paintings and I've got some pictures, and I think because the photos are real life, but like we have a painting of a cow in our room. Usually I look at that. It's a giant cow. It was a funny sort of like, hey, my parents gave us money to buy art for our wedding, and we're like, let's just get this cow. He seems fine.
It's a great cow.
A great cow. But every time I see it, same cow. same sort of emotion, same silliness that we felt when we bought it, right?
Right.
But I
Very
think
whimsical.
photographs can be totally different in that, right?
Do you have a perfect piece that you've done?
Well, there's no perfect piece. There's only the perfect moment, Joe, and that's this right here, right
Jesus,
now.
Joe. Get it right.
Yeah,
What-
the perfect. There's an expression of there's moments that are like fleeting. I do recall this time when we'll speak in color now, where it was felt, but you can actually see it in the tonal range. I was flying over Yellowstone during the when the Yellowstone Park was closed down, so there was just like no people.
Yeah.
And I flew over it numerous times when everything was kind of shut down and park was closed. The park was wide open. It was
busy, but not with people.
yeah. The bison were moving down the road like they owned it, which
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and
High five and, wolves on
As
the
much
way
as
out.
yeah, they're like all those people left. Cheers.
Yeah.
There was this moment when I flew over the Yellowstone, and this just like there was often I photograph when it's a transitional time. So when there's a storm coming or going, and so that has the most beautiful highest tonal range of light is when there's darkness and lightness all together. And you can feel it, I'm sure, Michelle, when you go out and runs, the storm, it just hit and you come out there, it's fresh. And so like with our time we're in a very uncertain time with the genocides, the wars, the destruction, the deceptions, all these different things. But on the polarity of the perfect balance, because everything's always balanced, everything's divine all the time, is there's actually this like magical light coming out from everybody, kind of like so let's not be afraid of this like transition we're in. We're actually in an amazing time. Like step out, be more open to be vulnerable. It is when the magic happens. So as a photographer, I go out in the storm. And so this, back to what I was saying, I was flying over Yellowstone and this storm was in the passing and you can see it kind of coming and going. And the wind's picking up because the turbulence of the circular wind we were in, and then kind of came around and it was in this total calmness, and then looked over here and this just beautiful rainbow just hit right at the end of the Yellowstone, not the end, but a part of the Yellowstone River. And when you talk about a perfect photo, that was just a moment of time. I felt it, I captured it. And so that image has not been seen really. And
It's the
so
only color photo you've ever taken.
Well, when I retire, I'll have about 12 color photographs that will just like when I'm pinned in as this black and white photographer, and I'm 70 years old, I'll come out with these 12 101s that are all color. And so
Surprise!
I just
motherfuckers.
told you one of them.
That's awesome.
And
It's like Jim Carrey doing a serious movie.
Right. Exactly. It's like you thought you had it pinned, and here it is. And then I'll die, and my kids can take it from there.
That's great. I think I want the rainbow photo.
That sounds very cool.
Yeah. So
if you had any other career outside of photography, what would it be?
Well, I'm kind of a natural philosopher, and but after a while, I kind of bore my family and my other people and all these philosophies. So it's kind of more of a hobby, like the philosophical. But honestly, I the only other thing I would do is just be a little league baseball coach. I really love it because instead of the philosophy of the kind of the zen of being present and all these different ideals of really how to like have a ripple and an impact with humanity, like the ground is like coach 11-year-old baseball, and that will like really put the philosophy to the physical reality.
Okay.
And they can, so I do that in baseball. Every time after a game, I pass the baseball around, and this is something I just kind of started back to the philosophy, because I actually truly know that we're all whole and complete as is, and we're not separate. So the illusion is that we're separate and we're not whole, and that's the hypnosis we've been in for lifetimes, and we're coming out of it, when the truth is we're completely whole, as is, completely perfect as in that moment. And then the other truth is that you're interconnected to all life. So anytime you're sleuthing for somebody else to be the villain, you're actually in another trap, because the villain is actually part of humanity too. Mm-hmm. And when I say this, I'm not condoning any behavior, any destruction, or any evil things that are happening. But anytime we kind of hold on to a side of division, mm-hmm. we're in another trap of isolation. So how do we kind of move through that? That's how this life is so abstract. I don't have the answers, but I do know in my truth that we're all connected and all peace. So I pass this baseball around to the kids, where they each just say, oh, okay, I'm going to start with Michelle. Michelle, what I appreciate about you, and just coming from my heart, is that smile, and that you have a true like glow about you, and I felt that.
Right? I'm kidding.
No, receive that. So that's another thing too, the conditioning. Mm-hmm. Fully feel into this, because it's the truth coming from my heart to your heart. And so if you can receive that without having to, tell me what you appreciate about me, then you would take the baseball and then you would say, well, what do you appreciate about Joe? You can go.
I appreciate that you are exceptionally nurturing and constant. And yeah, I think that, like today when he had 1,000 things going on, and I was like, I'd like if you come to the hospital with me, because I don't like this procedure. And he was like, okay, and just drops everything and does that. And I think that is a trait that you've always had in our marriage, and I love it. You're a constant. So even though he's a guy that makes lists for grocery stores, he is consistently. I think I'm on reliable. His list. Yeah, he's reliable. I think on his list, on his daily list, is Michelle at the top, probably.
Sure. Yeah. And I've coached Little League baseball, so I know that when it comes to the 5 Ps, it also really tests your patience.
Really?
So you've got to have patience in spades to deal with that. So good for you. That's great.
I'm not getting paid in USD on that, but I'm getting paid just like I go walk away. I'm like, oh, so nice. So on another career, but going back to what else would I do? I feel blessed to do and be what I'm doing.
Yeah.
If I won the lottery today, if I and I whatever won the lottery, didn't have to worry about money or whatever, I would still continue to do what I'm doing.
That's amazing. I like
there you
that.
go.
Wait, Joe. You got to throw the ball to him.
That was what I did. That was with the patience and all that stuff. That was
Joe's,
me.
Joe's telling
Keen what I appreciate about him.
Okay,
everybody has amazing cameras built into their phones now. We are all amateur photographers. It's important for us to share and for people to admire what we've done. Can you give people any just like quick tip on how to take better photographs with our dumb phones that are ubiquitous that we can't get away from?
Yeah, that's a great question, because everybody does have a camera, which is quite fascinating. I think one would be, don't be afraid to take the shot, when you feel it, to not hesitate. Really be intentional is like, what am I trying to shoot? So when you try to show everything, you show nothing. So what am I actually photographing? What am I actually trying to express? So you always move in closer.
Hone in on your subject.
Hone it, like walk closer to them.
Yeah.
Hone in closer to the subject of matter, whether it's a person. Well, actually, don't with the bison in Yellowstone.
No.
Don't move in closer.
Or anything.
Anything. If it's a live animal,
even if it's
or
a
live toddler, watch yourself.
That's why God made our optical zoom.
Yeah.
In that moment.
Yes. That's how you pop it in. So I would say that. And another thing I would say too is like cull through the images for the month, for the week, for the month, or the year. Let's say over a year, you have all these photographs on your phone. Cull through them. Pick out like your 10 favorite and send those out to your people and say, gosh, this is what I felt. Because they're going to get more out of 10 photographs than like, hey, Joe, let me show you my trip to Costa Rica.
Right.
Wait.
Yes.
Wait, Michelle. Oh, no, I can't. Wait, Michelle, you're gonna want to see this. Wait, oh gosh,
Forced attention manual slideshow.
Yeah.
Oh, no, this is great.
Oh, and then all of a sudden, because I was excited, right? So now I'm sparking memories of my trip. Oh my gosh, I remember when we had that fish tacos. Oh, you guys, look at this fish taco. I remember that. Oh, that day on the beach and you got sunburned. Look at this, Michelle. So now Michelle, as the viewer, is like, but if I was like, Michelle, look at these 3 photographs from my trip from Costa Rica, and I'm like, and then I let you like settle in on it, and then I show you, and then I was like, kind of,
Like, I
then
love that monkey.
Show you the next one, and then show you the next one. Those 3 photographs will express more than 3,000.
Yeah. That
Which
makes
one
sense.
should we blow up 8 feet wide and
Yeah.
hang on the wall now?
Probably just Michelle's smile.
Right. Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
She
It's a
will.
good smile.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Thank you so much for your time today, Keen.
Yeah, thank you.
We really appreciate it.
If
and
attention
hopefully-
is currency, we have used enough of our audience's
Exactly.
attention. at
Oh,
this
can they
point.
last
We've
this?
done
If
it.
you've lasted this long, you've passed the test. You're ready to go to the next level.
Yes.
I've enjoyed
yes.
hearing what you have to say, though.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I think, if you want to see any more of the work, you can just go to kenesperry.com. That's just KENESPERRY.com. So it's just my name.
And we'll have that on the link.
Yeah, and then I also do artist talks. I'm an artist in residence at the Montage Hotel, so I have pieces up there.
Nice.
And so periodically, every 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks during the summer, I do these artist talks. So if you're interested in that, you can just send an email and we'll let you know.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of cool. We just do a walk around and I talk about the Great Yellowstone and kind of the process behind capturing the photographs from an aerial perspective and kind of what was seen. But I captured so many pieces just during that time period when the park was closed because the animals came out, the light came out. There was back to like no distractions. The people weren't there.
Yeah, no tourists.
No tourists, getting so close to the... And when I photographed in the park on the ground, the people have probably been the most fascinating. They're very unpredictable people.
Yeah.
Animals, they migrate, they move in patterns. They're actually going someplace. They have a direction.
Yeah.
And people, they can just, you don't know, they could go left, right, they could go backwards, they could jump down.
Walk into a paint pot, you don't know.
You don't know. It's always just like, it's exciting to just observe and be a witness to it.
Yeah.
But human beings are wild, and I think that's the kind of the unknown. And so, when you're moving into kind of the unknown, I just kind of ask myself and ask others to just kind of open up our heart and kind of less knowing. And I'm even saying this, especially to myself about doing that. And kind of the last piece of tea wisdom.
I like more tea wisdom.
That I was kind of wrap it up. May your head and heart speak with one voice. And then that's clarity.
Yeah.
All right.
That
Sounds
is a
good.
significant other, head and heart.
Find Keen's work. Find Keen. Just don't expect him to answer any questions about shoes.
Yeah.
He doesn't know anything about that.
Nothing about shoes. And yeah, we'll have his stuff linked up on the podcast. So you'll be able to find it.
Thank you,
website.
Keen.
Thanks, you two.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it, yeah.